All right, friends, we're back. Your favorite podcast show of the week. It is Location Weekly, and we are on episode number 555, recording live on February the 7th. And yeah, we're excited to bring you yet another show. Brianna, how's things? How's life?
Things are good. Life is good. Yeah, it's been like super cold and a little bit crazy weather here lately, just like lots of, snowy mixed stuff. Probably not crazy for other people, but for southerner to northerner. So I've just been trying to like embrace that a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually, heading tomorrow in person for IAB Leadership Summit. So excited just to do something somewhat normal-ish. So it'll be interesting to see how that is, like how many people are there and kind
Yeah.
of what the vibe is. So things are good. It's like busy, and I am gearing up for a nice tropical vacation, hopefully in a couple more weeks. So that's keeping me motivated. But yeah, things are good. How about with you? What's new?
Yeah, things are good. I've been busy as all heck, with startup life and all the, our Canada Trace application for COVID stuff and just all the changes going on up here in Canada. It was a hectic week last week. And then, yeah, I mean, things are calming down. The weather's getting nicer. It's getting warmer. The Olympics are on, so there's stuff to watch. Um, it's Canada's about to play the U.S. In a couple of hours in hockey, women's hockey. So that's always a rivalry. So we'll see. You want to make a bet on that or what? No.
I don't know. What are we gonna bet? Something,
I don't
something that
know.
we have to do here on the podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, but yeah, no, things are good. So nothing to complain about.
Very good.
Yeah. So let's just jump into it. We have four stories as usual, and I'll let you start us off.
All right. Well, let's talk about location-based payments. This is an interesting story coming out of two smaller, organizations here. But Cross River Bank, which is this New Jersey, it's a chartered FDIC insured bank, and they have announced that they are going to be powering PayTile. Like they're going to use PayTile, which is a fintech company that offers these location-based payments through their app. So banking app offering this specific type of payment. I would say like platform or a new kind of peer-to-peer payment platform, and it's using geolocation. So it's facilitating these safe and private financial transactions between users and without sharing any PII. So you don't have to use your real name, you don't have to use your email address or your phone number or anything. So it's really protecting users and giving that like safe financial transaction based on proximity, obviously. So if you think about how you might want to pay for something on, let's say Facebook Marketplace, or you want to tip the valet, right? Or you're shopping at a farmer's market or something like that, were some good examples they gave. And this is really similar to the iPhone's like AirDrop functionality. So really you can just send money to people nearby without that exchanging of like any username or anything else. And so I like this a lot. I think there's a lot of opportunity here right now, especially because when you think about what's happened recently with like Venmo, Cash App, now they're saying that basically based on how much money you're spending, that's something that you could be taxed for. And when I think about how I use Venmo or Cash App, a lot of times it's just like reimbursement for something like, hey, you paid for my meal, I'm giving you some of this, you bought this, like, or chipping in for a gift for somebody. It's not something that you would ever be taxed on in real life. So why should you be taxed on it in that type of transactions either? So I think this is really a necessary thing. And I like the way that this is using the proximity piece of it for sure from that aspect as a privacy and kind of safeguarding piece to it too. Another cool thing that PayTile is doing is they're launching something that's called Money Drop. And it's their proprietary technology. It's taking the app from just peer-to-peer payments, and it's also letting somebody digitally place cash or other digital goods in a specific location to draw a physical crowd. So you think of like a prize of some sort, or trying to get people out, and there's going to be some discounted tickets or coupons or something, for a grand opening perhaps of a new store. So I really think that these are both very cool features and functionality. And this is from, I had never heard of PayTile, so looked it up. It's like two people out of Cincinnati, Ohio. It looks like they're either bootstrapped or they're backed by their own funding company, right? Like their own VC firm, or one of them is a partner in that. So it's very interesting. I think that this is like super, organic. It's like happening at a very, nascent level, but what they're doing is really cool. And we haven't heard a lot of companies doing this. So I'm excited to see what the future of this looks like. But yeah, I think this is a cool little story. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is really, really useful technology, very innovative way that they're using location and proximity to, enable that kind of payment transfer. I love the CEO is Anu Vora, and I love the little quote in the release. It says, "PayTile's mission is to make digital payments as private as cash and as safe as a card." And I think that's just simple. Like it's such a simple, well worded mission statement, and I think that's really cool. And I think the more I think about this story, yes, the examples that you gave of Facebook Marketplace transactions or farmers markets or whatever, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I like that they can tie it into an existing banking application like they're doing here with Cross Rivers app. But for me, like the big play here is in South America and Latin America and Africa and a lot of these countries where so much of the movement of money is cash anyways. Like a lot of these people in these countries are what they classify as the underbanked or don't have bank accounts at all. And so if there's a way that you can move cash back and forth, from some sort of account essentially that they hold, just based on proximity and somebody's near you, a la airdrop, I think it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I think from our contacts at the Location-Based Marketing Association, I think that payments and geo go hand in hand. Obviously we're way more familiar with sort of the tap type of things that we see at terminals or gas station pumps or things like that. But I love this idea of just being able to transmit from one device to another. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Also, two things I forgot to mention is that you don't necessarily have to bank with Cross River. This is available. You can just download the PayTile app,
Right.
and use it. So that's really exciting. And the other thing is that Anu, which you did not mention, is a female. So we have like what I think is very cool to see a female founder and CEO in this industry, which we don't often see. So
Yes. Amazing. All right, moving on to our second story. So, equally innovative on the tech side. Now, this is a company I'm very familiar with. They're an LBMA member company called Geo Broadcast Solutions. And so these guys, I think they're still based in the Chicago area. And a bunch of guys that come, met the founders, and they come out of the sort of, telecom space originally. And what they've developed is a technology that basically is designed to change the way terrestrial radio signals and advertising works. And so for a number of years now, they've been testing a system that allows, to break a geographic area into, smaller segments or geofences, essentially, and then on a terrestrial, broadcast, to be able to deliver different ad content into different, geofences on a single, terrestrial broadcast. So that's very interesting, very innovative technology. Of course, it's not happening today in radio, and so they filed a notice with the FCC to change the rules that would allow this to happen and to have targeted content and advertising to specific areas in these geofences. It's getting a lot of pushback from the mainstream, sort of radio community, especially iHeartRadio, as well as a number of others. And the NAB is also, along with these others, are saying, no, this is not good. The FCC should not approve this because it will, sort of depress everybody's revenues and a bunch of other, reasons like that. And I look at that and I go, okay, it might change the way you have to do business, but that's the nature of innovation and growth, and what technology does. And everybody has to be able to adapt and innovate along the way. I mean, when GDPR came into effect, how many of our companies in the location-based industry abandoned Europe because their tech couldn't handle what the changes are that were required, right? And had to find new ways to adapt and new streams of revenue and so on. So, I think that's as much as a lot of these companies, I think, have great solutions, I think that's a pretty feeble excuse to basically say, well, we're, because we don't own this technology and we're not the ones bringing it to market, then, it shouldn't be allowed. Like, I just think that's that's really short-sighted. So anyhow, so the FCC has to rule on that. And I guess everybody's just waiting to find out what's going to happen. But I hope that they rule in favor of innovation. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if that's truly the heart of why there's pushback is because nobody wants to adapt, then that's a pretty poor reason. And I'm not sure how that actually could hold ground, right? If this is infringing on any type of privacy or anything like that, then okay, then let's have that conversation. But it doesn't sound like that's really what's happening here. And additionally, what I think is interesting is that it also hasn't seemed to be proven to date that these geo fences and these micro segments in terms of like targeting content and advertising alongside of it is actually more effective than the other method, right? So who's to say that they can't go head to head? And who's to say that somebody like iHeartRadio can't go and acquire these people either, right? So you've got a lot of options here. And I'm sure that if, iHeartMedia had thought of this or come up with this, beforehand, there wouldn't be any issues with what's happening right now, and there would be no pushback. So, sometimes it's just like when there's a smaller player coming into the space, and again, like you don't want to innovate, you want to stick with what's working for you and what's been growing. I can see that there will be pushback, but again, like you said, I hope that we see some innovation here. This is a great industry to shake some things up in.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in every other form of media, right? Geo-targeting is that's what we do for a living here at the LBMA, and that's we've seen it in television, we've seen it online, of course, and in every other place that you can. So like, why not terrestrial radio? So there.
Yeah, it's like addressable radio.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. Okay, let's go over to some AR news. And Pinterest is releasing another AR tool, and this time it is in the home decor area. So this is not really like a new thing. We talk about the story. It's always somebody else coming out with this, but really this is a tool that enables users to evaluate home decor options and virtually place them before they commit to buy anything. So this is, really the same thing that we've been doing with makeup. I was trying to look to see if it had been activated. Maybe I need to update my app, but I can do the try on for lipstick and eyeshadow today. And there's a ton of different brands that I can do that with. So in that same way, it appears they will be rolling this out or are about to, if they haven't already. And it'll be able to just try on this home decor. So, some of the brands they mentioned were CB2 and or Crate and Barrel. And, that's a higher price point item. Sometimes it's not an IKEA price point, right? When you think about furniture. So you want to be sure that you like the investment. And I think about this in terms of like me being in a new house and trying on things. How is it going to fit? How's it going to look with the rest of my furniture is so important. I was just texting with a girlfriend the other day. I thought the sofa was gray. Now it looks blue in here. I'm not sure what to do. And it's like this type of options is really a great thing to be able to use and make sure that we like it as best as possible, because it's not like an item that you just buy, like a pair of pants that you can easily ship back or, drop back off at the store. So these are, bigger items. We're talking about sofas and beds and rugs and bigger pieces. So I like the idea of visualizing them and finding the right looks, and being able to do that across a bunch of different brands, I think is really helpful in one spot, and then save that to your Pinterest board, obviously of choice, and kind of like build that out how you like it. So I like that this is happening within Pinterest. I think it's more exciting than happening perhaps on an Amazon or on an IKEA, because it's within, again, the ability to kind of create that vision board alongside of all of those shoppable pins. So although this is not a new concept, we've seen a lot of brands do this. We've seen, a lot of other e-commerce sites do this. I like how this is panning out. So one stat they mentioned is like the try on for lipstick and eyeshadow is available across 14,000 shoppable pins. So the home decor is going live across 80,000 shoppable pins, and that pinners are 5 times more likely to purchase from the try on enabled pins than standard pins. So those are some great stats. As a brand, I would be very excited to have a shoppable and try on-able pin.
Yeah, so not a lot to add to that. I think, as you said, this technology and Pinterest has been playing around with AR for a number of years now. On the beauty side, I think moving into home furnishings and decor makes perfect sense. I mean, there are so many people I know who use Pinterest for that and have boards, on how they're decorating their homes or future homes or bedrooms or, whatever it is that they're doing. So I think this is great, and I think this idea of sort of trying it on, seeing how it looks, all of that, it makes perfect sense, especially because it's a significant purchase, price point, for a lot of these items. You mentioned Crate and Barrel. I think that's a great one. They've also got Macy's and Target and Wayfair included in this launch. So I think, there's a lot of great brands and a lot of great choices there. And I think 80,000 shoppable try-on pins is a lot of things, a lot of items to play around with. So yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I think they're gonna have a lot of success with this, and yeah, that's all I got to say about it. I think it's great. All right, on to our last story then. So kind of coming back into the world of payments again, but in a different way. We're looking at the restaurant and food services industry. So PAR Technology has teamed up with Radius Networks, and they're integrating Radius's Flybuy SaaS platform. So PAR, if you're not familiar with them, they're a global restaurant tech company. They focus on POS technology in particular, and have a lot of different solutions around that. That includes they've you might remember a long time ago on this show we talked about a mobile app called Punch, which was in the loyalty space. So that's part of PAR's network of products. So they have their tablet POS and their ordering platforms and kitchen display systems. So like when the order's placed at the front of the house, it shows up in the back of the house, and so they're sort of all in on that kind of payments and ordering technology around that. And Flybuy is a company that has a SaaS platform that is really focused on things like pickup and delivery and drive-through technology. So they have something called Flybuy Drive-Through, which is automatically detects and transmits customer loyalty information directly from the customer's phone to the POS, in this case PARS, and things like that, real-time driver locations, so kind of bringing that sort of that other element of what we've seen, a lot of the growth in restaurant tech and around delivery and and timing and things like that, together with what PAR's been doing on the other side. So I think this is a really strong partnership between the two companies. They already have some customers in common. So Flybuys got about their techs in use at it says over 30,000 locations in 50 countries, but they have overlap in some of their customers already, which is great. So brands like El Polo Loco, Tropical Smoothie, and brands like that. So I think this is really cool and interesting to see, two companies that sort of play at different parts of the ecosystem here coming together and integrating their tech together. Often, if these kinds of things go really well, you probably might lead to some sort of M&A type of activity down the road too. You never know. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that you covered pretty much everything there. The M&A piece is something that I definitely thought of, and I was also considering, how does this either elevate them to play better with, the Grubhubs or the Uber Eats of the world, or how does it make them more competitive? I'm not sure if it's complementary or competitive there. But it is interesting. Like I love hearing of a less known names like in that industry, right? Because we've heard of the standard and traditional ones. And so, when you're thinking about tracking your seamless driver or whatever, what does that look like with the Flybuy platform and the PAR technology integration? So it'd be interesting to see how, how does this play into the larger space that there's been so much growth and mergers and acquisitions happening over the past couple of years. So
Yeah.
stay tuned on that one.
Stay tuned. Yeah. So that's it. That's our show for this week. You've been listening and watching episode number 555 of Location Weekly. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Please reach out if you have feedback or story ideas. We'd love to hear about that. And of course, we'll be back next week with yet another show. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.